Okay, so I have said before that I do not believe that I have anything close to an optimal shape to my punch bits. So I'll say that again. If you want to do it right, consider doing a different shape. I'm not going to get off too much into what I'm doing, but can you see? Yes, you can see. All right, so you saw that I hit it. And what do you think we got? Let's see. Turn it over. Open it up. That's what we got. So, it's not very wide. It isn't super long, and it's not super deep, and it did make a fair bulb, but it's flute. So now, you're like, well, that's good, leave it like it is. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to come and, because I'm concerned about how this is going to look, and so I don't want to screw up. I'm going to come in the middle with a fine abrader and abrade downward a little bit, because that's all rolled, right? Yes, that's very much rolled. So now, I'm abrading those two platforms, those two other platforms I talked about, and you're like, oh, you're not going to hit those, are you? And I'm like, yes, I am. You might be wondering why. Because I'm curious, and I want to see what they'll do. You're like, well, aren't you going to flake off those little things on the side? Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll take a couple of tiny flakes. I took a tiny flake there and a tiny flake there to move things over a little bit. Is against my judgment, so now, because I just know y'all wanted me to do that, so now if it messes up, it's on y'all, because I wouldn't have done that. What I'm also going to do, though, to safeguard my ears, okay, is I'm going to take a tiny little flake on the outside, kind of pointing that way, of those platforms, and that should stop. I took a tiny one there, whoa, tiny one there and a tiny one there. That should stop the spread of these flakes. And that's all just highly technical and complicated, I know, but I'm hoping it'll kind of follow the ridges on my flake channel, and I'll get a super wide looking kind of thing that looks like the person that made it doesn't care and is just making it the way they wanted to make it because they had a wide stick that they were going to stick it on, maybe. It probably doesn't sound right when I say stick. A haftingness. Okay, where's my punch? I just like to refile off the tiny burr. Man, I don't know why you got to flute it 3 times on one side, because you're risking the piece 3 times instead of 1 time. Yeah, well, I'm hitting over concrete too. Well, it went, but I don't know what it did. That one went too, but I don't know what it did. So it's either gonna be super ugly and y'all are gonna laugh at me, or it won't be, and then y'all will say, well, I guess it worked out. Okay, one of them ran like heck. It's crazy. And the other one ran medium and wrapped over there. So it's weird. And that was insane, but I guess I could hit it a fourth time. I can also come in with some intrusive flaking into that side. There's so many things I can do. My choices are endless. All right. What I know I got to do is I got to turn this back the other way, because at some point we're going to hit that other side. So I know I got to do that. I'm just doing that a little bit because I'm going to flake off anything that I did, so I'm not really worried about it on the look of it on this side. But if I was going to hit a fifth time, I may just have to do that just to do it. It's Wild Wednesday. What do y'all think of this? I mean, is it too weird for words, or? Yeah, don't care. Crap. Shot that down a bunch. Man, whoever finds this one is going to be completely weirded out. Like, what am I looking at? I wonder if I can do this. I'm going to try and push the heck out of that one right there. Went to there. It looks like a river delta. Here we are, Marge at the Mississippi. I have a feeling if I hit one into here with it this flat, it's going to hinge the crap right there. Okay. I'm kind of starting to have fun. I don't know if y'all are, but at this point it doesn't really matter because I am, so. So there's my platform. Ooh, I pushed that the wrong direction. That's gonna fail. Dadgummit. I pinched this by not going outward enough with those flakes. I need to come back with it, which runs the risk of getting a bigger bulb. And this is just not right. Don't care. Hit it and move on. It's probably going to just completely fail and look stupid. But I can always try and do a good job on the other side to make up for botching this one. One of the biggest problems I have is visibility. I would like to be out in the bright sun, but on the other hand, I don't want to be out in the bright sun. So this is really going to confuse the crap out of people, because if you're a studier of lithic studying things and you find this, you're going to say, oh, looks like he flew to that twice. Instead of, looks like he flew to that like 4 or 5 times. I've already lost count. But anyway, so that flute early, flute often thing, well, I didn't start fluting early, but I fluted often, so. Kind of like the way it looks. One thing for sure, it don't look like a Soulburger jig was involved. It's really thin there where that bulbed out on that last one though. That's a problem. I may have to make this a deep dish pizza. I don't mean literally a pizza, I mean a deep convexity to the base non-pizza. You got to be kind of careful. You know, the old boys didn't really probably care, but if you don't want this to look all nibble and funky and weird and terrible at the end, and folded and hinged, you need to be a little careful how you strengthen that with a braiding, and then, you know, where you go from there. What do I have that I can... Oh, that's way too dang thin. The heck? See how thin that is? So when it's that thin, if you leave it that thin and try and set up a platform and hit that, you're just asking for a world of grief. Yeah, I said it. World of grief. So sometimes you may have to cheat a little bit and go back the other way. Get down into things a little more. And you're losing length on your first side, so you're uglying up the first side. And now I've gotten into dang concrete. Unbelievable. And I mean, you know, when I was in school, I could have took fluting lessons, but I took clarinet. Right? Yeah, you all took clarinet, I know. I know how it is. I think I can get away with that. Almost. This might end up looking like one of them long-eared things. Where? Hold on a second. Aha! I found a weird little round thing. I'm just barely doing it. This has flatter convexity than that other side, and it's got a little kind of lowish area there. There's not a lot of biconvexity, but it was good that I did as much as I did on that side, because that was the humpiest side. But I'm trying to decide what to do over here. I could just hit the crap out of it without even isolating. Of course, that risks having the mother of all bulbs. It does. It really does. I definitely live on the wild side when it comes to this stuff. So you're like, did I just see you do a little nick right in the dead center middle where you're going to run the flute? Yes and no. I did make a little nick right in the dead center, but that's not where I'm going to run the flute. I'm going to run a flute on this side and a flute on that side. Yep. I'm a wild one. It barely ever gets wilder than this anywhere. At noon-ish. Man, where's... Y'all really need to wish me luck. Okay? I mean, seriously. Oh, that was crazy. Are you ready? All right. That's pretty dang wide like it is. But I said I was going to flute this side, so now I have to. I have to. I could have a sudden equipment failure and come back later and say, I don't know what happened. There's a big old glowing hole and it sank into the ground. All right, I don't like this angle. I'm gonna change that. Okay, look, here's the concern. I would rather it not completely run over this edge. This is obviously at an angle, so when I hit it, it's going to put force that direction a little bit, even though I don't want it to. So I'm gonna take my flaker and lower that one side. And assist the flake in discerning the correct direction to go. In theory, we hope. ITWH, that's my new, I shouldn't say we, because I hate when people say we, because it always acts like they think they're speaking for others. If you say we, I wasn't talking about you, I was talking about others who say we. I say me, I represent me. Dang, I was too brave on that. But it worked. I mean, I think it worked. I don't think that's too ugly. I could just leave it there and never know. That's okay. But I need to mega push a flake right there to widen that. Yeah, we'll be good. And once I trim the delta, it'll look like it'll look fine. I don't know if I've ever done a video like this before. Probably shouldn't be doing this one. Try back.